John Kerry is, believe it or not, considering running for president again. He lost to George W. Bush in 2004, so he probably shouldn't run because he's embarrassing. If you lost to Bush in 2004, man, you're bad at this. God, he was beatable in 2004. George W. Bush, man. Why did he lose? Because he ran as Republican light. I'm just like the other guy, except I'm a little smarter, so vote for me. Well, you give people the option of the original or the diet version. They went with the original. Why didn't you rep something completely different? It's because he's an establishment goon and his instincts are all like the worst kind. The ones that back power. They're not revolutionary. They're not visionary. He's just not good at this. So anyway, he's considering running again, and he went on CNN to attack Trump. And this is an absolute clinic on how not to attack Trump.
Secretary Kerry, great to be with you here in your old and new haunt, Yale University, a seminal place in your life. It is a life that's been dedicated to the proposition that these democratic institutions, that global institutions, diplomacy were important pillars for our country. What's the state of American foreign policy now?
Deeply challenged, to the point of being dangerous for our country. President Trump has isolated America and taken us backwards in terms of institutions that were structured ever since World War II to bring the world together. Today, without any demonstration of how it will make America safer, why we need to do this false presumption that, quote, America first. Every president puts America first, but they don't do it in the same way that Donald Trump has, where he's breaking things apart without any alternative that makes us safer. So, in fact, the values that are contained within the United Nations and the Security Council and the efforts we've made are the values that have helped us to create a world in which far less violence is taking place today between nation states than at any time in human history. Fewer people are dying than at any time in human history. So why would you turn away from that, which is what the president is doing? And he has encouraged
Because I think he thinks
Brexit.
he's got an appealing political argument.
Yeah, but it's a cheap argument, and cheap arguments by people who are in the highest positions of leadership are the last thing the world needs right now. He pulls out of Afghanistan. He says, we're going to get out of Afghanistan. Pulls the rug out from under his own negotiator who was about to sit down and negotiate with the Taliban. That's the biggest card of all, whether you're going to pull out or not. Pulls out of Syria without leveraging out of a Syria agreement, something for the Kurds, something with respect to Russia and Iran in order to have an agreement as to the future of Syria and Iraq and the region. None of these things take place. This is the pull-out, walk-away presidency, and it is not enhancing the interests of the United States of America.
Secretary Pompeo has just been in the Middle East. He made a speech in Cairo in which which was a repudiation of the Obama foreign policy.
The age of self-inflicted American shame is over, and so are the policies that produce so much needless suffering.
Well, look at all the things I just said. Who's kidding who? Are you kidding me? The age of shame is over when a president of the United States capitulates to the president of Russia and adopts his point of view on Afghanistan?
Oh, was that bad? Okay. Let's put on our strategist hat here for a second. That really was like a masterpiece. That was a clinic in how not to go after Trump. So right from the beginning, the first thing they bring up is, well, here we are sitting in Yale. Very important place in your life, isn't it, John Kerry? Like, when the president paints the Democrats as these elite, out-of-touch people, why would you prove him right? By sitting in Yale, yes. I'm not a populist, I'm an elitist. I enjoy Yale very much. Very much. Me and my friend Thaddeus went here years ago, and we would sit around and we would have hors d'oeuvres and great people. Why would you feed into that narrative? That's the last thing. Any strategist who told him, I got it, why not do an interview with CNN at Yale? Fire him immediately. Actually, you know what? Keep him on because you'll get negative 8% in the polls and you'll be out of the race before anybody could even blink. But, I mean, even the framing of this is so terrible. Then they move on from discussing that they're sitting in fucking Yale, which is something the average person can't relate to. By the way, what was Trump doing this same week that this came out? Serving fast food and talking about it. Wendy's, tremendous, unbelievable. We got some Big Macs from McDonald's. We got some Wendy's. Now, again, people were making fun of Trump for that. I said it on Kyle and Corin. That's like the best thing about Trump is that he likes shitty fast food. You want to know why? That's relatable as fuck because fast food is goddamn delicious. Anybody who's being honest is going to say that. And if you don't say that, you might be an alien. Like a literal, like, Martian. So, as Trump is talking about fast food, fucking John Kerry sitting in Yale lecturing the world about how I know what's right for the world. And then he pivots from that. The first thing they talk about is, what do you make of our global institutions in today's day and age? Again, feed right into that narrative Trump put out there, where he spoke about how, I'm all about America first. I'm all about this country. The opposition, these guys are globalists. They care more about the globe than they care about a random family in Arkansas who can't put fucking food on the table. Look at these out-of-touch elites. I care about you. They care about somebody in the fucking Congo. So I'm here to look out for you. America first. Make America great again. Now, I need everybody to understand something. Trump is using this argument cynically, and he's bullshitting. There's been 93,000 jobs outsourced with Trump as president, and there's a laundry list. His tax cut bill went to the fucking top 1%. 83% of the benefits went to the top 1% over a 10-year period. So there's he's bullshitting you, but he's a good bullshitter. Whereas John Kerry is right into the stereotype that Trump sets up of the left. He trots right into it happily. No, you jackass. And by the way, I'm not an idiot. I understand that there's anti-Semitic undertones when you talk about how I'm not a globalist, I'm a nationalist. I get it. There's anti-Semitic undertones. But your average person who's not extremely online is going to hear those phrases and go, well, John Kerry cares about the globe. Donald Trump cares about America. And they're not going to know the details of it like you know it and like I know it, how we know that globalist is often a stand-in. What they really mean is Jew, and they say Jews control the world, and there are anti-Semitic assholes who run with that narrative. So I'm fully aware of that, but just know your average person who's not extremely online is not fully aware of that, and they hear Trump talking about America first, and they hear guys like John Kerry talking about our global institutions, and they're like, I love like the guy who wants America first. Then he goes on to, Trump's isolated America. That's what he's done. By the way, not true. Not true. So the one area where I give Kerry massive credit and I despise Trump is Iran, because Kerry gave us the Iran deal. It's the best thing he's ever done. It's probably the best thing on Obama's record, and Trump is trying to destroy it. So in that sense that he pulled us out of the Iran deal, yes. In that sense that he pulled us out of the Paris Climate Agreement, yes. Kerry's 100% right. Trump is 100% wrong. But Kerry's comments go further than that. His comments, and he goes on to lay it out clearly, Syria, Afghanistan. He's isolating us from the world. So in other words, he's trying to take Trump's instinct of non-interventionism, which again is not even totally there, because he's also increased drone strikes 432%, and he's also increased the defense budget massively. But he's trying to take the rhetoric of Trump, which is non-interventionist, and smear that and go, he's isolated America. By the way, that's the old trick. If somebody's a non-interventionist, the framing of that has a negative connotation is if they say you're an isolationist. Because isolation, you want to be isolated from the world? You don't even want to talk to the rest of the world? Oh my goodness. Whereas non-interventionist, the framing non-interventionist sounds just like, hey, I don't want to do offensive wars. So that sounds a lot more, it has a positive connotation. The negative connotation is, you're an isolationist. And then finally he just says it. He goes, well, it's great. He pulled out of Afghanistan and he pulled out of Syria. Huh. Of all the fucking things to attack Trump on, you're taking the massively popular things he just did. Look at every poll on that issue. As of 2013, only 17% of Americans still wanted to be in Afghanistan. 17%? And you're out there like, I can't believe he just pulled out willy-nilly, as if that's irresponsible. No, dipshit, the irresponsible thing was being there for 17 fucking years in the first place. God damn it, John Kerry. What is wrong with you? He acts like it's irresponsible in Syria. Irresponsible in Syria? It's an illegal offensive war against a country that didn't attack us, where we also armed and funded jihadist rebels. Not only that, there's been fights between Pentagon-backed rebels fighting CIA-backed rebels. We're on both sides of a fucking civil war that we should have nothing to do with. And he's framing it as, he's so irresponsible. This is the pull-out presidency, the cut-and-run presidency. He pulled out of Syria. He pulled out of Afghanistan. Why not run fucking Trump's campaign ad for him in your speech, you dipshit? He's happy to cede the mantle of anti-war to the Republicans. Now, by the way, they are not anti-war. I know you know this, but the thing is, John Kerry is such a political dipshit that he actually thinks that by pretending like Republicans are anti-war, that's going to hurt them. No, only in your shitty elite bubble, John. Only when you sit down having the Grey Poupon with your fucking elitist millionaire friends. Only in those circles you go, yes, we really should increase our troop presence around the world. Why would we pull out of Syria and Afghanistan? We must stand up to Vladimir Putin and threaten World War III. We're serious people. Yes, very serious. Like the whole, John Kerry's whole brand of liberalism is the elite, like, I'm a manager of the world. That's what I am. And I'm a serious person. Like the whole thing is I'm serious, he's not. That's the whole framing of the conversation. Well, guess what, John? That is exactly what you said in 2004. When Bush said we need to keep doing the Iraq war, you said, I totally agree, but I'm a serious person and you're not. Now, with Trump, he would get beat even worse because Trump is saying, no, at least in rhetoric, he's saying, let's get out of these places. And your response is going to be, no, let's stay. I'm a serious person. We wasted $7 trillion in Iraq. We wasted $2 trillion in Afghanistan. We have nothing to show for it. Nobody even defines victory. We just invade places without even getting approval through Congress, which is massively unconstitutional, not to mention illegal under international law. We do this willy-nilly. Your average person's not okay with that. 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Half of workers in this country make $30,000 a year or less. And you're feeding right into the narrative that Trump puts out there of these idiot fucking elite Democrats. All they care about is globalism and managing the world, and I'm here to put America first. You're so shitty at politics, it's embarrassing. Step aside, son. Your time is done. I give you credit for the Iran deal, but that's about it.